Today we're going to make some mashed potatoes and filet mignon, beef tenderloin. They call it that because it's tender, and it comes from the filet region of France. Oh, I don't cook that much. I cook more lately just on Sundays. Rachel usually cooks more during the week. She'll make like real meals. I'll just make, like if we'll have friends over for like Sunday roast or something, we'll get like a big piece of meat or something and I'll just throw that in the oven. And I guess that qualifies as cooking. I do like the bacon wrapped beef tenderloin. I like that one. But it feels weird saying it's a recipe because you just wrap bacon around this piece of meat and throw it in the oven. I don't think cooking is that hard in that sense. And I don't think baking is that either. Like baking recipes people think are more, like that would be someone's recipe because you put like this secret thing in it. It's a little bit of cocaine, a little bit of Tylenol, you know? But that's my secret, is a little bit of Tylenol. Ground in there. That's why my cinnamon rolls are so good. You're like a little drowsy, but you're like, oh, I want more, you know? That's my secret ingredient. Children's Tylenol, so it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anyone. Unless they have Ray's syndrome, but who has that these days? I think they all died off. We're gonna cook this meat. We just prepped it with the salt and the pepper and the oil. We're just gonna throw it in the oven, really high heat, for about 15 minutes, and then just turn the oven off, and then let it sit for another 15 minutes, 20 maybe, and see if it's done. It should be medium rare, delicious. Don't open the oven, because that's the worst thing. You don't want the heat to escape, but you want it to not be real hot. It smells amazing. I baked a lot when I was young. I baked with my aunt, my great aunt. She was very old because she's my great aunt. But I remember baking with her, and she would make like blueberry muffins and stuff, just for fun. And she was a crazy old lady, and so I remember just like having fun making stuff with her. That's, I don't know, I was probably 8 or 9, if that, you know. And then growing up, I always baked stuff. We had parties a lot, so I would just make whatever, brownies, a lot of brownies.
That looks beautiful.
So the meat's gonna drip down onto this, but I'm gonna do this okay. Just a little bit. Get in there. There you go.
Just call this drunk cooking.
Drunk cooking. It's committed to that now. There we go. This, we're just gonna roast it, and then when we're done, we'll take it out and we'll put it in the mashed potatoes. Should I go do some push-ups? Should I flex?
Sorry, I'm drunk. This isn't gonna be good. 2 dogs. My name is Rachel Nash, and I am from upstate New York, now living in New York, New York. Yeah, it's actually, I don't think I've ever seen spinach this big. But I think most of the time when you buy it at the store, it's baby spinach, not real spinach. The first time I remember thinking about cooking was when I was going to college. My mom told me that I needed to learn how to make some recipes so that I could survive. And I was the oldest, so this was the first time that she had to deal with this too. So she was very worried about me and concerned and needed to teach me something. And she taught me how to make spaghetti sauce from scratch and then make spaghetti. So spaghetti's easy. The sauce, you have to saute onions. She showed me how to saute onions and garlic and then add tomatoes and then sort of leave it going for 30 minutes or something and then put it on top of spaghetti. And she kind of sent me off to college with that one recipe. In college, I brought a cookbook and I started, because I didn't really know anything, I started just picking things out of the cookbook. I just flip open a couple pages and then pick one that looked good. And I kind of remember showing Andrew, I'd bring things to him and be like, what do you think? So I did that for a while. I think that was a lot of how we started living together. Not really dating. Dating was before that. But when he moved into an apartment and I moved into an apartment, we would just bring food to each other. Are you just eating garlic?
Sure.
Nicely done. Do you think I should try it first?
Probably.
Maybe that's a good idea. Okay.
I used to bake as a hobby, and then I found that restaurant that was by our old house. And I was working a really terrible job in an office, and I was like, well, there's this bakery here. And they had it open for a while, and then they closed it. And so I went and asked them, and I was like, what's going on? And they're like, well, we just can't handle both right now. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do it. And so I made something of my own, and I gave it to him. He's like, fine, good, let's do it, let's try it. It was stressful, because I was doing the whole bakery by myself. And so it took me, maybe a month to learn all the recipes and just be able to do them and figure out what I have to do at the first of the day. It's just a matter of balancing your time, of seeing I have to do this so that it's ready later and do all that. And it's not that difficult. It's just, it seems stressful at first, but once you do it a few times, you get a sense for, oh, I need to do this and then that and that and that. And it's just scheduling mostly.
My mom always used to do baked potatoes.
Yeah, we did too.
And now I haven't seen one ever since my mom made them.
They did a bunch of cakes, pies, key lime pie, banana cream pie, did brownies, cookies. What else did we do? A lot of cupcakes, cake pops. Everything was so sweet, so buttery, so sugary. I would not be able to eat any of it anymore. But it was just you would have to go there as a treat. I don't know if people did, because I would see the same people come in all the time. I was like, it can't be good for you. Because it's the amount of butter, there would just be a huge box of butter come in. And by the end of the time, I was like, that's not enough butter. But at the beginning, I was like, well, that's so much butter. But it's just 20 pounds of this butter would come in. I'm like, I need more butter. What are you doing? More butter. More problems. It was a restaurant, a bakery attached to this restaurant. And so I was co-owner and I managed the bakery. The restaurant was not great. The food was all right, I thought. There were problems all around, but that's what all restaurants do. You just solve problems as you can. The restaurant was struggling because they couldn't get food out fast enough for deliveries. The food was good, but you had to wait for it a little bit. And especially if they got rushed, you just had to wait. A nice dirty stovetop means that, there's brilliance there. Okay, we're gonna let that do what it do. And then one of the real problems in the end was I left because I came in one day and I was the first one there because I'm baking things early in the morning, and I found that the walk-in freezer was broken. We were closed on Sunday, so I came in Monday morning and it was it was just broken. And so when it broke, it turned off, but it also then started pouring heat into there. It was the middle of the summer, so it was just an oven. And so I walk into the freezer and it's just like the smell of putrid meat was just so disgusting. And the floor was just covered in like melted butter and it was disgusting. And so I go in and I couldn't stand there for more than a minute. And I just looked around and was like, this is all bad, it's gross. Clearly not gonna eat any of this. And so I called the owner and I was like, hey, come look. And eventually he shows up a few hours later and he comes in and he goes into the trash can and he starts throwing stuff away. And so I'm just standing there, I'm just watching, waiting, because I can't do anything. All the stuff's in there that I need. And so he comes out and he's just like, he's like saving things. And like, there's shrimp and chicken. He's like, these are still good. There's ice on them. I'm like, there's no way that's good. Why would you ever risk that being good? And we got into a big fight about it and I couldn't stay there. So I left. That was just the last straw, really. It had been stressful up to that point. I was trying to save a sinking ship and it just didn't work.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. A lot of it is just knowing what needs to happen at certain times. We don't like say, I'm going to take care of this and you're going to take care of this ahead of time. But we do talk about a menu, what the menu's going to be, and then we go shopping together. So whenever we start cooking, we know that certain things have to happen at certain times. So, the potatoes have to start boiling at a certain time, they have to come off at a certain time, they have to get drained at a time, and then one of us just takes that over if the other person's busy, which is nice because it lets the other person have time to talk to people or, whatever they want to do, play video games. Andrew likes to do steak, different cuts of steak, definitely, that's his thing. I like salads because there's a lot of variations on that. I almost never cook the same thing twice. So I like salads because you can do things that are similar but like slightly changed to different recipes. So if Brussels sprouts are in season, then you could do just like shaved Brussels sprouts with cheese and the lemon dressing. But you could take that same combination of things and make it like spinach and strawberries with a balsamic dressing for a different season. So I like that it lets you kind of complement things without being the same all the time. So I think salads are my thing. Steaks are definitely Andrew's thing.
This is certainly cooked. Now, Rachel insisted that we overcook it. I remember hearing her say overcook. You heard it, we heard it. That's the story. It's steaming.
Well, what did you learn because of me that you wouldn't have otherwise?
Oh. I definitely have more of an idea of what's in food in general. About what's healthy and what's not healthy. And I think about what really are the major ingredients. You need some greens, some protein, some fat, some of this, some of that. Really think about what I'm going to eat before I do it. She has good ideas about what we're going to do and how to actually do it. She's very good at making salads and like very green things to accompany the whatever meat we have. Or
What has Andrew taught you about cooking?
One thing, everything is better with bacon. Second thing, It's fine to add whiskey to most things.
I recommend sharpening next.
What does Andrew need to get better at in cooking? I don't know. Nothing's a cure-all. Nothing fixes everything.
It's a fucking lie. Cinnamon, bacon, and whiskey will all cure anything. Either one of
Cast
those.
iron fixes it.
All of those things will cure anything. That's raw. So put the thickest part back in the oven. Because that's borderline raw.
My favorite thing about cooking is probably getting together with people. I never really cook for myself. If it's just me, I'll go to a store and get something and like eat a banana or like have a bagel. But if I'm with somebody else, I'll make something. And I think I like just that moment that you have together eating. And that's kind of how we hang out with friends, or even when I spend time with my family, that's kind of how we bond. Again, it's just like over eating dinner or something. I like that.
Sorry we fucked this up so much.
Okay, optionally goat cheese and strawberries because they're seasonal. There's not a lot of things that you control in life, but the things that you make, you definitely control. So I think that if you want to enjoy life, you have to learn to enjoy the things that you make.
Rachel makes me a better chef because without her, I really have no one to cook for.
That was a great soundbite, but I'm...
Thanks. I was going for something. I don't normally cook. I bake. I only cook when we have friends over, really. Rachel's the real cook. She's like the behind the scenes kind of like actual cook. I'm the schmuck piece of shit who like cooks when there's people around. And really, my cooking is throwing a piece of meat in the oven.
Oh wait, before me, what did you cook?
A ramen.
After me, what did you cook?
There is no after you. What are you talking about? Damn it, I can't be not serious about these stupid things.